Welcome everyone to Owning Your Brilliance Live. I'm gonna try not to get emotional now. I'm super excited to have you here. This is where we really want real conversations to meet alignment and having soul connections. And so I'm super excited to have you here today. And we're going to be talking about a powerful topic today, which is what if success isn't something you chase, but something you tune into. And I'm super excited to have Amy Theisen, Chinese metaphysics expert, the amazing Amy. She is a wealth of knowledge. You're in for a real treat today. Amy blends ancient wisdom with real life transformation. So welcome, Amy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Awesome. Super excited to have you here. And before we dive too deep, let's talk a little bit about your backstory. So what drew you to Chinese metaphysics, and at what point did you realize this was your calling?
Okay. Do you all remember when you were little and you were drawn to certain things and you had these dreams and things like that? And I'm like, I'm going to be a scientist. Okay, I'm going to be a scientist. I had no idea what that meant. White lab coat, whatever. And I would do these little experiments around the house, putting macaroni in different colored liquids and watching them change color. I catching butterflies. And then as I got a little older, I noticed my mom had this book in the bookshelf on poem reading. Now, if you met my mom, you would never imagine in a million years she would have a book like that. But I, of course, thought that was really interesting. I think I was in 8th grade or something like that. I was a Girl Scout. And so the Girl Scouts were putting together this big event at the high school in the gym. And they're like, okay, we need all of you older girls to do something. I'm like, well, I can read poems. So I sat down at this chair and all these little girls, little brownies are coming up. I'm like, oh, well, this and that and this. And you like ghost stories? And well, I just, whatever. And so there's always been this little underlying interest in things that aren't normal. When I think it was 2001 or two, something like that, I said to my husband, I'm interested in feng shui. Didn't really understand what that was at the time, so I took this little 3-hour community ed course way out in Watertown, Minnesota, which is where we were living, because you all know that was the hotbed of feng shui. And I took that class, and then my husband gave me 4 feng shui books for Christmas because the class was in November, and he gave me these books for Christmas. And we were driving somewhere, and so I'm reading them in the car. The 3 kids are in the back of the van watching some movie, and I'm like, oh, listen to this, listen to this. And I'm like, this book makes no sense. There's no way they use this to take over kingdoms in China, right? Put a wind chime in your corner and suddenly you're going to have all this. So I put those 2 aside, and the other ones, oh, this is interesting. And then the next thing I know, my husband's like, well, I signed up for this week-long retreat. Learning Strategies is bringing in this feng shui master. I'm like, he's like, well, yeah, I signed up. Maybe you want to go too. The next thing I know, he has listened to the first call and he comes to me and he goes, this is way more than I want to do. Do you want to go? I'm like, absolutely. So I went in his place and I started studying with that teacher. Long story short, I kept having these little nudges. So I started down a little path when I was young, and then followed it a little bit more, followed it a little bit more, followed it a little bit more while doing all the other things. And suddenly you start to have these breakthroughs where I left the one teacher and started studying with Joey Yap from Mastery Academy of Chinese Metaphysics. And I was arrogant. I thought, well, I've been studying feng shui for 18 months. I know this stuff. So I asked if I could test out of his first feng shui class. And he required you to have something called Bazi in order to take his classes. You had to have the basic stepping stones. Well, I'd never had that. So I went to Toronto where he was teaching that week. And I took his Bazi, which is Chinese astrology, life destiny, took his first 2 classes. And then I sat down with one of his instructors and tested out of level 1. She basically paged through the workbook. Do you know this? I'm like, yes. Do you know this? Yes. Do you know this? No. I don't know what that is. And she goes, well, it's basically this. And she looks at me and I'm like, and then she went to the next page. Do you do this? Yes, yes, yes. It had exhausted my entire knowledge, something he taught in 4 hours that I had taken 18 months to learn. So my butt, I was never arrogant again. I'm like, all right, I have found the real metaphysical teacher that is going to teach me, and I'm going to learn the classical. So I started with feng shui, went into density analysis. I went into it because I had to. Usually that piece. Completed my master's coursework in that and in feng shui, and then he introduced something called Qimendun Jia probably 10 years ago. And when I sat in that class, it was just like everything parted and this big bright light shined on me, and it was like, this is where you're supposed to be. So Qi has really become a passion for me, which is using basically our God spark within and how we work with that to open us up to the soul's calling. So that's my story. I launched my business in 2008. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, actually at a professional level. I continue to study, and I started working with many other teachers. And because I am a lifelong learner and I always want to bring more so I can bring more, I am going to be joining my husband, because he has been a catalyst all along to this, in Spain in March. That just transpired on Wednesday. So it's a week-long retreat with very, very intimate at the teacher's house. His name is Peter Sage. So we'll be with him for a week.
What part of Spain?
It's called Tenerife. So it's the Canary Islands, just pretty close to Morocco, off the coast of Morocco. Yeah, that's next, and I'm excited to see what it brings and what I can bring from it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, isn't it just that spark within us? It's interesting to see how our journey transpires, and as we're moving through our journey, it's like, one stepping stone. It's not all, it's that or everything. It's like a stepping stone to get us to the next spot, and to continue to grow.
And one of the lessons that I learned, and I hope you all understand, is you don't wait to get started until everything is perfect.
Yeah.
And even with a program like this, if you wait till everything's perfect, it will never be. You need to start, because what I was doing almost 20 years ago is vastly different from what I do now. Elizabeth has been along for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So in Chinese metaphysics, you talk about periods, period 8, period 9. We're currently in period 9. For those that are new to Chinese metaphysics, what does period 9 actually mean?
Okay, so to understand how everything is cyclical, and so there's patterns in every type of study. There's 9 periods that we go through, and then we repeat. Each period is about 20 years. So we are at the last of a 180 year cycle, but we are in period 9. So period 9 is a 20-year cycle. Period 8's 20, so it's like 60, whatever. You can figure it out. So the last time we were in a period 9 was a long, long time ago, right? Long time ago. Period 9 energy is fire, and period 9 energy is transformation. Period 9 energy is the rise of women. Not just women, but feminine energy. So we see a lot of pushing. We see a lot of bullying. We see a lot of war. Well, that's all period 9, because old habits die hard. And before the softer energy, the feminine, the female, can become a more vibrant part of this world, there's always pushback. So that's what we're experiencing now, because we just went into period 9. It started, because nothing just happens overnight, right? It starts coming in gradually as one wanes, the other comes in. It started in 2017. And in 2017, if you look back, you can go research this, just don't take my word for it. That is when women started coming forward about all of the sexual harassment. It was the Me Too movement.
Like, yeah, look, I'm like over here with tears. Like, I feel that.
Yeah. So the Me Too movement was the first time in history that women were being believed. And things were happening and the transition was happening. That was the beginning of period 9. Does it mean that that feminine energy has to take over. In my personal viewpoint, we're better when we have a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
We need to embrace both our masculine and our feminine, and we need to know when to use each correctly. But you will watch more women. So you've seen women now breaking glass ceilings, and you've seen women in CEO positions and in key members in our governments, not just in the US, but worldwide. And that will continue, but it also requires us to step into the power within that and using the gifts that we're supposed to.
Yeah, and I would say, even for every woman to balance out their yin and yang, be in their power, even if they're not a CEO, right? It's just the space of the woman.
Not a CEO here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know that term CEO sometimes feels a little harsh, and that's where, working with Amy throughout these years, it's like a period 8 word, right? But yet it is a powerful word, and it whatever it means is that we have control of our life, whatever that looks like. And that balance of between yin or the feminine and the masculine energy is so important. And I've also read that somewhere too. It's not that the feminine energy here is to take over. It's to really start to balance things out.
Yeah.
And so that nurturing side of the feminine energy to be highlighted. Right. So, okay, awesome. So how might people start to feel this energetic shift, even though they can't put words to it?
You're all feeling it. I know you are. This is an undeniable year. This energy. So let's start talking about the energy matrix that we all are. We are, when I'm talking, these are waves of energy, right? Sound waves, you can hear them. Our sight, we see energy all around us, our sight. We can feel ourselves. We are physical, dense energy. We also have an energetic imprint that we put out. So one way we can actually play with that is if you take out your phone and you open up your compass app. So all of you likely have a compass app. And now I use this a lot when I teach feng shui because we use direction. And I'll say you need to put your compass about an arm's distance away, like elbow, put it on your hand. And the reason is when you take your compass and you bring it into your heart, you will actually change the degree. So I'm at 339. And now I'm at 344. That's a 5 degrees change. Okay, so hold it away from you and bring it in, and you will see that compass change. And it's because your heart sends out a magnetic field. Okay? This is kind of fun. You can actually see it. You can actually measure the electromagnetic charge in your heart. We are energetic beings, and we're very sensitive to energy, whether or not we know it. And I was listening to one of my teachers in Malaysia. Her name is Jessie, and she had such an interesting picture that she was showing, so I had to make my own, of course. And it was a picture of one woman, and it was depicting her aura field. You all know what an aura is, right? Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is, I'm probably doing this early, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I want you to take your hands. And I want you to put them together, and I want you to rub them really fast together. And you can feel the heat pulling between them, right? Well, that's just friction. Okay, so take it, rub it harder, 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 till your arms start to hurt. Okay, now pull your hands apart. You feel the vibration.
Oh, yeah.
Now gently start to bring them together till you feel a little bit of resistance. Okay, just a little bit of resistance, almost like there's a ball of energy. All right, you feel it? Yeah. Okay, you are feeling your energy field just in between your hands. Our energy actually reaches all the way out through the tips of our fingers. All right, so Cindy and I, all of us, are pretty darn close in everybody's energy field. All right, so we are energetic beings. What was the question?
So how is it that how do we feel
Okay.
the shift without knowing it?
Okay, so there is a collective consciousness, and here in Minnesota, we've been thrust on the international stage, right? Because of how political things are playing out in our state. And when you read something, about what has happened in our community, you feel the energy. That's the words that are used, the images it might come up. This is creating a collective consciousness in our state. And because we're all so connected, when you are in a crowd of people, you're picking up on everybody's energy. Now, back to the picture I was talking about that she had used, is she showed a woman with the aura around her, the chi around her, that had holes in it. And when we have holes in our own energetic field, that's what happens. We pick up more emotion, we pick up more negativity, we pick up the energy of other people, and it starts to affect us. When, however, we are in energetic mastery of our own energy, we actually can have an aura that is complete, and it doesn't have holes in it, and we are protected. Doesn't mean we don't feel it, but we are protected from holding on to and internalizing the negativity, the emotion, and the feelings of other people.
That's amazing. And we're going to go, I'm like, wow. And we are going to go a little bit deeper about how we, what it's like to be connecting with other people and that's misaligned with our energy. But before we get there, I want to talk about 2026.
Oh, yes.
The year of the fire horse, right? So it's known as the year of the fire horse, which sounds very abrupt and fast. So can you share what fire horse energy represents and how that kind of energy might influence how we show up, especially with courage, momentum, and visibility?
All right. Remember what element period 9 is?
Fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got fire in the name this year, fire horse. In Chinese metaphysics, the horse also carries the fire, the flame of fire, and then a little bit of earth. So this is what we call a full fire pillar. The last time we had a fire horse in a period 9 was 180 years ago. Last time we had a fire horse was 60 years ago. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, 60 years ago, what happened in the world 60 years ago? You can go back and look.
Yeah.
180 years ago is where you really need to look.
The Spanish flu.
Probably.
You're not lying.
There was a fall. I know there was one of the major falls of the empires in China. They say the fire horse and blood red goat, Crimson horse, blood red goat, which is 2026, 2027 right now for us. There's also always a massive transformation of power. And China is the touchstone because the Chinese are the ones, of course, that created the system. So every 60 years, they have some sort of political upheaval transition, but it's going to play out in mostly every country. Fire horse. Fire horse energy is fast. If you thought last year went quickly, this year, don't blink. But what's going to happen, what is happening is the fire horse is creating a lot of emotion, a lot of emotional turbulence. People are going to be making decisions faster based on emotional reaction rather than actual discernment and clarity. So we want to make forward progress, but this year, more importantly, you want to be very clear in the direction that you're going. That's because the way you make decisions may feel correct at the time, but for many people, that is not going to be the reality. It will be mistakes, and the mistakes will be amplified very quickly, and therefore we need to be able to pivot. If you know, I talk a lot with my clients about we need to be clear, we need to have that emotional mastery so that we can make sure that we're not making decisions based on negative emotions, based on the energy we're feeling, but because it's right for us. And if you just take a breath, take a beat, and make sure it's actually where you want to go, then you can be confident moving forward. We always say, luck favors the bold and the fastest to market. This year, it's take a second and then move. Take a second, then move. Make sure that you are in alignment with your energy and what you want before you actually take the action. Step forward and then go like hell. Fire horse does move fast. Fire horse is very transformational. The world is recreating itself this year and next. Boundaries are gonna be redrawn. Boundaries are man-made. They can be changed. They will be changed. And it's not just political boundaries or physical boundaries in the earth, it's actually our own boundaries as well. And what we will put up with and what we won't.
Yeah, and it's finding that balance, right? Because like you said, 2026, the year of the fire person, is moving fast. And so we don't want to wait too long to make those decisions. So we don't want to procrastinate, but it is important to really align, figure out what it is that we want, align with that energy that supports us, and then move forward with those decisions and releasing what doesn't support us, right?
Yeah, and that is, that's gonna be some of the cause of the emotion out there that you see people are, it's the WIIFM, what's in it for me, mentality, and people are not gonna be rational. We've already seen that. Knowing this, we can actually phrase our words differently, we can communicate differently, we can not be triggered by what someone else says or does to us. And that's owning your own internal energy. I call it inner alignment instead of AI, it's IA. So you can start thinking in that way. So yeah, AI is really cool, but I'm more focused on my own inner alignment moving forward. And if you can come from a place like that, knowing that everybody's emotions are up here, you bring your own temperature down and making sure that you are making the right decisions for you and not, what's the words I'm looking for? Not holding it personally, taking it personally when somebody loses their temper, and just spread kindness instead. Biggest breakthroughs this year, because everything's so loud and fast moving, it's the quiet. It's when you can be quiet. This is where some of our biggest breakthroughs will be happening. You won't even know they're happening right now because they're not out on social media talking about it, happening behind the scenes until it's finally ready to be. This is a great year, however, to get visible. So if you've been wanting to do some marketing, you need to get your name out there this year because it will go faster and it will go further this year than any other year.
Planting those seeds, right? What's that? Visible.
Visible.
You can't get physical if you want, but I would be careful because there's going to be a lot of aggression out there. But yeah, visible. Yeah, and that's really, and it's breaking through that fear too. It's like it goes back to that balance between asking yourself what's holding you back. But there is something that you want, and this is the year to really get visible. This is the year to plant those seeds and move yourself forward. And yet, if something is holding you back, really getting clear on what is it. And if it's fear, as Amy said earlier in the beginning, it's like, don't wait till everything's perfect. Because we learn through the mistakes that we make, really. It's like, there's pickleball reference. I was learning, Lena, you and I learned pickleball at the same place. And that instructor, his line was miss more, learn more. Because we learn from what we don't do and what's, doesn't work. But if we're waiting to everything, our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted before we get off home plate, we're never going to move. So we got to make those adjustments. And I'm, really big on reflecting what's working, what doesn't work, and then making those adjustments and moving forward. Awesome. So we talked a little bit about what we can do consciously to turn into what helps us, orient us rather than reacting to what's happening around us. You were saying touch in and go inner and really feel. What is it? And be careful of our words. Is there anything else that we can do intentionally? Is this where I'm supposed to do that one? You have activities however you want to do them. Okay, well, I do want to do this one for you. Yeah, I'm going to do one here. So I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to understand that you have two parts of your body, two parts to your decision making. I want you to point to your brain. That's right. Okay, put your hands down. Now I want you to point to your mind. Some of you are saying your brain and your mind are the same thing. Right. Does the mind show up in an anatomy book? In an anatomy book, the mind show up? No. It doesn't. Oh, that's a good question. It doesn't. Our mind is throughout our entire body. Ooh. And we are all connected.
to universal mind, divine consciousness, right? Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. Take one nice inhale in and out. This is hard, this is very easy. And I want you, with your brain, to remember a time when you were very upset, frustrated, sad. It was like the worst day of your life. All the horrible things that happened, tragic things, negative things that happened. Shame, yourself, guilt, the most negative you've ever felt, the worst day you've ever had. Feel that? Open your eyes. What are the words to describe that?
Dramatic.
Dramatic? Betrayed? Yeah. What?
Sadness.
World.
Blocked.
Scary. Right.
Very low energy words, aren't they? Okay, now close your eyes. I want you to imagine complete opposite. The day which you were so filled with joy and bliss. It was so exciting. You're so happy. Maybe you had tears of joy. It was a wonderful day. Everything was just fabulous. Okay, open your eyes. Now tell me the words that you associate with that. Joy. Exhilarating. Good.
Happy.
Yes. What's that?
Excited.
Excited.
Bliss.
Bliss. Bursting, right? All right. That was all done with your brain. Okay. Your brain is very powerful. And it's like imagination, right? Imagination is brain focused, and imagination done wrong is fear. Imagination done right is hope. Do you guys know how many stories we tell ourselves that aren't real?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the brain. I'm as guilty as everybody else here. I can tell myself a really good story. Otherwise, I heard, oh my God, somebody's coming in to break. So we have to understand that we have really good imaginations because our brain's job, it really thinks its job is to keep us safe. And to keep us safe means to keep us where we are. Because to go somewhere else is unknown. If it can hold us in our past, then it's safe because it knows the past. So therefore, it draws on what past experiences and results have been in order to project what we think might happen in the future. Therefore, if you think about something you did in your past, maybe you started a business, maybe you asked some gentleman out on a date, maybe you went to, I don't know, whatever, a job.
Job interview. Yeah.
And it's saying, well, remember what happened that last time you did that? How is this going to be any different? Or I'm going to do this because this is really where I know my heart's in it and I'm going to be passionate about it and it's going to create this growth for me. But remember, you said that last time. That's your brain. We want to make the connection instead with the divine mind because every single one of us, and we have access to the divine mind where it wants us to have everything. So you might be saying to yourself, well, Amy, then that's like saying everything is supposed to be as it happens in our life. Well, yes, we have free will, but we also have our soul's calling. Our soul does want things for us. It's not about lessons. We are not broken. We are not here well, I guess that's another lesson I had to learn. That's not correct. We're a divine being and we're supposed to have all of these experiences. We are supposed to experience as many things as we possibly can. And sometimes we create the negative experience because of that.
Yeah. It's so true. And I think And we're gonna get, this is where I'm like, okay, this is the next follow-up question to that, because it's so getting into what is we can control and what we can't control.
Yep.
And, so many times we're told, I mean, I love brain training and focus, I follow lots of people, and it is, well, our thoughts drive our emotions drive our actions, our inactions. And I feel like so many times we're just on autopilot with our thoughts that we don't even recognize them. So it's like, I would say, I don't believe that I wake up in the morning and say that I'm not worthy of owning my own business, right? I don't believe that I say that. But yet, if I look at my actions or inactions, I feel like there is something there that is preventing me from moving forward. So it is kind of that belief in me, even though I may not be hearing those words in my mind. Right.
Right. There's a lot of, so, when I first started with all of my studies, The Secret was a very prevalent piece. It's actually who I was working with at the time, was her assistant. So The Secret was all about positive thinking. Put things to remind you of this, that, or the other thing. Positive thinking in your brain. Okay, that means they have a lot of discipline, right? And it's like, oh, well, one negative thought can cancel out all those positive. That's not exactly true. What we want to get to, speaking of this, is figuring out what is our soul calling. Because when you're not in alignment with the soul calling, that's where the frustration ensues. And when you're in alignment, it's like, okay, you asked me, how did you know that this is what you were supposed to do?
Yeah.
I didn't. I was just interested. I didn't know it until maybe 2-3 years ago. Get to it, Amy. Because honestly, dabble. Okay, yeah, I had clients. I was doing this. I was doing that. I was running workshops. I was doing yearly summit. I was doing yearly reports. All of that. I was good at it. I still am. Obviously, I'm good at it, but I didn't recognize it as it is in complete alignment with what my soul wants me to do in this lifetime. I am all about bringing joy to people's life, helping people feel fulfilled. I'm all about bliss and happiness and love, but you got to have that first. You have to have it first in order to give it away. And I told Cindy, I said, I'm a very different person than I was when I started this 20 some years ago. And this is kind of going to move us a little further into what we had talking about, but if I were still the same person that I was 20 years ago, I would not be married.
Yeah, I
wouldn't be married.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm working this still, things that would happen. I don't know how many of you are married in here.
But
Okay.
it could apply to any relationship.
Any
right?
relationship.
Amy and I had this conversation this week.
Friendship relationships, work
Yeah.
relationships, personal relationships, husband-wife relationships. I've been married 31 years. And you think, wow, that's great. It's freaking hard work because they shine a light on certain things in your life. So he would get, and he would act a certain way and I would take it personal. And so him acting a certain way, all of a sudden I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? Why am I having to feel this way? Number one, I didn't realize I'm an empath. Okay, so I pick up energy and I hold on to it. I learn how to deal with that. But what has changed me is the work I do. But what really changes me now is when I feel triggered, I stop a second and I say, okay, what is this really about? Oh, I'm feeling that I'm not good enough. It is triggering that deep, not good enough. All right, is that true? No, it's not true. He's not doing that intentionally, or she's not doing that intentionally, or my kids aren't doing that intentionally. That is my own inner, deep, dark, let's see, just released it. Deep, dark, inner thing that I need to work through. But it's the pause of asking myself, why do I want to why is this triggering this heat? So there's someone that's, you ever fired a client before?
Yes.
Good.
Yep.
This isn't even a client. But it's the constant. I mean, there was 2 voicemails yesterday. There was 3 text messages. There was 2 voicemails the days before. There was 4 voicemails. And this is after I said, I can't help you. Please stop contacting me.
Wow.
And so I'm irritated. I'm like, why is this irritating? Why is this irritating? Why don't I even want to listen to the voicemails? Because I know I'm going to feel that fire come up inside of me. So I'm like, okay, I need to sit with that and figure out what is the reason why the emotions are still out of alignment. Because I need to get back to that IA. And so it's a work in progress. And because I consciously made these changes, and the real reason is because when I had my life chart done with Joey, when I started this a whole long time ago, I said, I don't want to continue down this path of study if I don't know this is something I'm supposed to be doing and doesn't fit with my chart. And he goes, oh yeah, you can do this. And he goes, oh, but you have a temper. You need to watch your temper with your husband. I'm like, temper? And it's gonna
Never.
I'm like, oh. But he said you need to watch your temper because that's gonna be a challenge in your marriage. And so that made me go, oh, I need to pay attention. So it's bringing something in the unconscious into the conscious, then I could make the changes. Right? So
Yeah, and that is definitely something that I've been focusing on the last 6 months. I would like to say really is that trigger response.
Mhm.
So when that's where it's like any interaction, right? It could be with any relationship, any interaction. In Minnesota is great for passive aggressive, and boy, I was passive aggressive in my earlier life. But really, when I am in that situation where I am responding in more of a trigger response or a passive aggressive way, that's what I've been doing as well. Like take a step back. First off, don't respond so fast. I can sit on it for a second, take a step back, and really figure out how I want to respond, and then ask what it is in me that I feel like it's some kind of healing that needs to be happening. And we talk about childhood experiences. A lot of that has been like, focus of the personal development journey. But it's even deeper than that, isn't it? It's really like past lives. Like we can be carrying this information. The soul has been holding on to this information for many, many lifetimes. And so, which is a whole nother conversation we could have for another half a day. But yeah, so really starting, which is gonna go into our next question, which is really the crux of this conversation, which is when we're in that low vibration environments around other people and their stress, how does our own energy influence the room, and what happens when we constantly shift it?
okay. So I'm gonna have you put everything down on the floor and you stand up. So there's a little experiment. All right. I want you to look at everybody in this room right now. And I want you to channel your inner bitch and your inner low energy. The lowest energy you possibly can. And I want you to say hello to everyone in this room, channeling that energy. You don't have to look at them in the eyes, but you have to say hello to everybody. Okay, love it. Hey. 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 Hey.
I know, I can't hold my smile back.
I'm so uncomfortable because I'm so uncomfortable.
No, it's not.
That's not who you are.
Right.
Sometimes we are.
Yeah.
Okay, stand back up. Now, I want you to look at everybody in this room as your best friend that you haven't seen in a year. And you happen to see her today. And you're going to say hi. Ready, go. Everybody's face. Very different than you were like. All right. So we are the masters of our own energy. We have to, when we are in situations where everything's negative or everything's very low, we can consciously make the decision to change ourselves. Sometimes it ain't easy. Never use the word ain't. It's not easy because sometimes you just got to have a pity party, right? You just got to say, oh, I'm going to feel like crap today. I'm going to give myself 2 hours and then just get over it. And I'm going to teach you a kind of transformation thing that you can do before we leave today. But recognize how you feel right now. Feel pretty good. It's like, oh, I feel a little peaceful. There's a little bliss in there. It's like, oh, just nice warm hug. Remember that feeling, and you can actually use your brain to feel that again. Because remember, your brain, if you don't use it correctly, it will use you. It will decide the negative self-talk. It will decide how you're going to feel in a situation. But if you say, no, we're going to switch that and we're going to feel this way instead. So that is one way you can keep your energy high, even though there might be some people around you that have a lower energy. And honestly, when you walk into, you've all had it happen. You walked into a room or someone else walks into the room and you recognize, ooh, yeah, something's going on with that person. Or someone's just a little off. Like when I was in the room with Cindy a month ago or something like that, I knew there was energy off about her. And she'd lost her cat. And her cat is very near and dear to her, and I know that. And I want to shift that energy for her, but I could feel it. The sadness. Yeah. The sadness and the real loss.
Yeah.
The whole in the sense of loss. And it's very near to the surface still.
Yeah.
And we need to transform that because your cat's not gone.
No, she's still here. She's a fighter. Yeah, she's fighting. Callie, but the Kali. She's I didn't know it at the time, but after I named her, I learned of the Hindu goddess Kali, right, of destruction of all evil. And then of course I had Callie for 12 years, so I then forgot about that. And then the last 6 months of her life, 3 months of her life, I was reminded again of the destruction of all evil. And I lost her in October 2025, which happens to be, right, Chinese metaphysics. We know the year starts in February, but the energy starts shifting the October previous year.
This past year, it was October, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so I'm like, Callie's off fighting. Yeah. And where everything we're going in, but she's a fighter.
And you owe her,
yeah,
to keep going and carrying that legacy forward because you are doing it in your own way.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so true. And then I also thank you for that and that tribute to Callie. But also I think about you. I mean, I've been working with Amy. Amy is my personal Chinese metaphysics mentor for I think 8 years. And I know you've heard the story about my attitude about networking. Not at all. I have it in there. And it does go align with exactly what we talked about. Now, when I started my entrepreneurship journey 10 years ago, I was doing something completely different than what I'm doing today. but I would walk into a room, a networking room, and I always felt like I walked into a high school dance looking for friends that didn't show. And I'm like, why am I always the outsider looking in? Well, a couple of reasons. One is I wasn't aligned with what I was doing. That totally is clear to me. But those are the stories that I kept telling myself. Networking doesn't work. This is a waste of time. I'm told I need to go in and collect business cards and connect with people. That's not happening. What's wrong with me? And I did take a step back from networking for a few years, which gave me the time to realign with what it is that I'm here to do. Now I will shout from a mountaintop. This is what I do. This is my purpose. This is what I'm delivering. Those that are connecting, great. Those aren't, that's fine too. We can still be friends. But I thought about that story, that networking, when we were talking about that example of when you walk into a room and you use the Eeyore analogy versus, and then I threw in Tigger, Eeyore versus Tigger. Yeah. And so, and then, like I said, sometimes we just need to be sad. And so then we call upon our loved ones and say, hey, I just need a little support today. Awesome. This leads us to, I know you brought something special for us today. And so would you mind guiding us through a short practice that helps us recalibrate our energy as of today?
So before we do that, I brought a little present. And it was funny. Last year I bought these as a joke, but it turns out the information inside was pretty cool. So mine from
Joke's on you.
this year as it was last year. So I'm just going to have you choose one of these cards, and it is Fire Horse card. And you can open it up and do the scratch off and see what your little advice is. Open and scratch off. And I'd love for you to share what you got. Elizabeth?
I got a thrilling time is in your future.
Oh my gosh. I think it is.
Mine says wealth follows closely behind you.
Say it again.
Wealth follows closely behind you.
Good things are said about you.
A pleasant surprise is in store for you.
Your patience will be rewarded.
Lady Luck is smiling at you.
It will come as clear as a pond.
That's a good one this
That
year.
is for Elaine, exactly.
Your ability to juggle many paths will take you far.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Your past success overshadowed by your
Oh, that's a great one.
I'm kind of liking this.
Lisa, if you laugh at yourself, you will always have something to laugh at. Maybe I take myself a little
Okay. Thank you for indulging me. That was good.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to be implementing a couple of things in this next session, or this piece that I'm going to teach you. I want you all to put your back to the northwest, which is kind of the way Mary has her back to. So if you can just kind of stay where you are and just align your chair to the angle that she's at. The reason we're doing this is a 10 direction right now. It's the power of this time frame. It's a 2-hour time frame. And we are tapping into, those of you that have studied with me, the guardian chief. And chief is the guardian of the guardians. So it is the hey chief. Hey chief. It is the piece of divine that can answer all of your requests. And I am just going to lead you through a basic clearing and protection. And remember, we talked about the aura that had the holes in it. I want you to create the zone of protection where your aura is nice and strong and you are inner aligned. And I will be playing some sound bowls with this, probably more towards the end than during this segment because I've got specific tuned ones to root chakra, throat chakra, and third eye chakra today. So those are the ones we're going to do, and heart chakra. So just get comfortable in your chair and then hands on your lap but not touching. They can be up or down, it doesn't matter. Feet on the floor, not crossed. There you go. Just get comfortable and close your eyes. And take a nice inhale in through your nose. And hold at the top for 3, 2, 1. And exhale slowly out through your mouth. Now inhale again in through your nose. Hold for 3, 2, 1. And exhale slowly out through your mouth. And one last time, inhale in through your nose. Hold for 3, 2, 1. And exhale slowly out through your mouth. And then return to breathing normally. Notice how your breath has slowed and is nice. We ask that the crystalline dimension be open in the space at the highest level we can comfortably manage mentally, physically, and emotionally. And we ask that white crystalline light come down and fill our physical bodies, transforming anything vibrating below the level of love into the level of love. And we ask that white crystalline light to expand outward until it fills a space an arm's distance in every direction, above, around, and below us. Now I invite you to identify any energy that is attached to you that is not yours. And we ask that energy to be transformed to the high vibration of love and returned to sender. I invite you to bring back any energy that is yours, that you've left in other places, had taken from you, or accidentally gave away. We ask that those energies be identified, transformed to the high vibration of love, and be allowed to reintegrate with us as long as they continue to serve our highest and greatest good. Now we ask for an energy of protection and an energy of invisibility so that only those spirits and guides who are optimal may see and participate in. And we ask that our higher selves direct and our optimal spiritual team aligned with our highest good, truth, and source assists. I want you to consciously drop from your head to your heart. So go from your head to base, down, down, stepping down into your heart space. I want you to invite one of the pure energies into your heart center, like pure love, pure light, pure joy, pure bliss, pure abundance, pure peace, whatever's speaking to you today. Invite that energy into your heart space. Feel your heart expanding. You keep saying to yourself, I ask for pure light or love, peace or joy or whatever you've chosen. And we see that pure energy move up to an arm's distance above our head and move down into the crystalline core of the earth, connecting us and grounding us. I invite you to ask for what it is you wish to have supported in your life. And just tune into the sound of the humble. I want to say thank you. Say thank you for this physical body. We say thank you for the divine beings that have been with us today and are with us always, assisting us and guiding us. And we say thank you for opening us up to the energy of divine. When you're ready, begin to bring yourself back into the space by wiggling your fingers and toes and taking a nice deep inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you need to massage your face or put your hands over your eyes and bring yourself back into this space, bring yourself back awake and alert, ready to go on with the rest of the day.
How'd that feel? You feel like they're finding those holes in your aura? For sure. Oh my gosh, amazing. So, Amy, if there is one thing you hope everyone carries away from today, what would that be?
You are in charge of your own life.
I love that. And for those that would like to connect with you or learn more about what you do, what's the best way to connect with you?
My website is just my name, amytheisen.com. You can start there. I do a monthly YouTube video about the month's energy. So that's another place you can find me, and that's also my name, the February one is up. I think those two places. And
Yeah.
you can subscribe to my newsletter too. Comes out once a month.
Yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. As you see here today, Amy is a wealth of knowledge, but she's also a sharer. So she really likes to share the information that she has with the collective. So YouTube channel, fantastic. Newsletter, fantastic. She also has 3 free courses on her website.
Oh yeah, do those.
Yeah, those are so you can get a little bit more information on you personally.
All about you.
All about you. It's amazing. And so, Amy, I thank you so much for being here today. I thank you for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, and your brilliance with us. I thank all of you that are here with us live today, thanking you for being here and aligning your brilliance. And those that are watching the replay, I thank you for watching.